This week on Vallo Vision News, mental health is a serious concern at UM. We find out how wait times for Montevallo's counseling services compare to other universities across the state. And the coronavirus pandemic continues to rock the globe, how UM is preparing if it becomes widespread in Alabama. Plus, here we go again, how Joe Biden and Bernie Sanders are preparing to face off on Super Tuesday 2. Vallo Vision News starts right now. Hello and welcome to Vallo Vision News. I'm Nick Norris. Thanks so much for watching. Communication Studies seniors have been hard at work this semester planning Exploring Communication Studies Day. That's happening this week. Joining me to talk about it now is CEO Jonathan Engelbert and CFO Madison Frowley. Thanks for being here.
Thank you.
Well, can y'all give us an overview of what Exploring Communication Study Day is?
Yeah, so essentially what we're doing is on March 12th, we're inviting everybody to come join us from 1 to 3, where basically our senior capstone is showing off what our major is all about and why we all care so much about it. One of our slogans for our event is Ignite Your Passion, where basically we're highlighting why we are passionate about communications and all the different fields that you can continue to be passionate about while utilizing that major.
Okay, cool. Well, how do your positions play a role in planning this event?
Well, being CEO, I kind of get to be the overseer of the whole process. I get to have my hand in all the little ins and outs of everything. I get to see all the behind the scenes from all the angles of our different committees. And it's a really rewarding process to see everyone come together and work on their specific tasks.
And I'm our CFO, so I'm in charge of managing our budget and fundraising opportunities and making sure that we can put on the event that we really dream to do. Because without money, we can't really do what we need to.
What has been the most challenging part of planning this event?
I think you have a lot of people with a lot of really great ideas, and all those ideas can come together to make something as great as what we've done, but sometimes, we get a little on different ideas and whatnot, but I think another aspect that's really been tough for us is weather. Right now we have our event coming for main quad, but more than likely it'll end up in Palmer Auditorium, but stay tuned for that for what the actual announcement will be.
Well, hopefully we get good weather then.
I know.
Yeah.
Well, what are y'all looking forward to most at this event?
I think for us, we're really excited for high school students and community college students, and then people here that want to learn about communication studies to see why we love it so much. And like John said, our slogan is Ignite Your Passion because this is something we are passionate about. We all have found our passions through the communication studies department, and we want to show people that they can do that as well.
Cool, that's some exciting stuff. We'll be looking forward to attending.
Definitely.
Well, thank y'all for being here today. We appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Be sure to attend Exploring Communication Study Day for this Thursday from 1 to 3 on Main Quad, and follow Exploring Communication Studies event on social media at Exploring Comms 2020 for updates throughout the week. Turning to other campus news, the Counseling Services Center is one of the most valuable resources for students at UM. But how does the wait time for an appointment compare to counseling centers at other Alabama colleges and universities? I did some research to find out. Mental health is a topic of great interest on college campuses throughout the nation, and the University of Montevallo is no different. UM has built a reputation as being a student-first institution, and ensuring those students have outlets to discuss their mental health and seek help has played an integral part in crafting that strong community atmosphere. Montevallo's Counseling Service Center is something the university takes pride in, and it often boasts its ability to see students in need in a timely manner. But how does it hold up to other colleges and universities of similar size in the state? Out of 10 institutions in the state, Montevallo had the longest wait for availability when called. According to an employee at UM's Counseling Services, the average time it takes for a student who has never visited counseling services before to meet with a counselor for an initial intake appointment typically takes about 2 weeks. When compared to other Alabama schools like UAB, Birmingham Southern, and Jacksonville State, Montevallo's average wait time seems to be the longest. Some students believe this could be a problem.
The wait takes a bit of time, about 2 weeks, sometimes 3 weeks.
I guess there could be some negative impacts if a student has to wait 2 weeks, but one good thing that the University of Montevallo does do is that if it is an emergency, they'll let the student have an appointment as soon as possible, and usually they make it a first priority.
Though the wait times might make for an issue, students seem to be pleased with the jobs the counselors are doing.
I do think it's good that Vallo has like free counseling compared to like a lot of universities that don't have free counseling, but I still think there can be like improvement.
When asked for a comment, counseling services said they would not have time this week to respond. If you would like to schedule an appointment with a counseling services center, call 665-6245 or visit the university's website. Coming up, the coronavirus is causing problems for many businesses, but Costco sales continue to improve. We'll tell you why. And what impact could the virus have on gas prices? Plus, Tinder is hoping you'll swipe left on the coronavirus, what the app is doing to help users stay virus-free. We'll be right back. Covering our campus, our community,
and all the stories that matter to you.
This is
Vallo
Vision News. The novel coronavirus continues to spread, increasing the number of confirmed cases and deaths around the world. In the United States, there have been more than 600 confirmed cases and at least 22 deaths. Despite the growing numbers, U.S. health officials are saying Americans should not panic. Camilla Bernal is in Washington with the latest.
The novel coronavirus continues its devastating spread, with about 110,000 confirmed cases globally. In the United States, there are hundreds of confirmed cases, and U.S. health officials acknowledge that Americans are uneasy.
We're gathering information. We're learning a lot, but there's still a lot that's unknown about where this is going. There's always that uncertainty that gets people very anxious.
State and local governments are also taking steps to increase testing and to contain the spread of the virus.
Our state was approved to do our own testing in the state of Maryland, so we don't have to wait for the CDC.
We are going to have to make a judgment at some point about whether we ask people to shut down events.
This as passengers from a cruise ship with more than 20 people who have tested positive for the coronavirus face 2 more weeks of quarantine after they disembark.
I would love to, see my family. I think that's the right thing to do. I think quarantining everybody for those 14 days is in the best interest of other people and their health.
Meanwhile, health officials say the best way to fight the disease is staying home when you're sick and washing your hands. I'm Camila Bernal reporting.
The University of Vallo is closely monitoring the coronavirus and the impact it could have on the rest of the semester. Professors have been advised to have a plan in case classes will have to transition to an online format. Currently, there are no confirmed cases of the coronavirus in Alabama. eBay is banning sales of face masks and hand sanitizer due to price gouging. USA Today reports skyrocketing prices because of coronavirus fears could violate state laws. California and Washington State are actively on the lookout for gouging. eBay's ban applies to N95 and N100 masks, disinfectant wipes, and hand sanitizers. Facebook says it is banning ads and commercials listing that sell medical face masks. Fears of the coronavirus have led to a shortage of masks, and sellers are jacking up the price. The social networking site already bans people from making medical claims on product listings. Coronavirus could make an impact on gas prices ahead of spring break. Gas Buddy officials say prices could be driven below the $2 mark if the virus fears continue and the global oil supply does not shrink. It comes after major oil-producing nations failed to agree on a plan to boost crude oil prices over the weekend. AAA reports the national average price on gas is currently $2.38 a gallon. The coronavirus is hurting sales for some companies, but not Costco. The retailer has seen a boost in sales for this quarter. It's largely because customers are stocking up on cleaning products, food, and household essentials. Some shoppers have even been posting pictures of long lines and empty shelves at Costco stores. Concerns about the coronavirus are spreading to the online dating world. Tinder is using pop-up alerts to tell users your well-being is our #1 priority and reminding them to use hand sanitizers and not to touch their face. The app also has various safety tips with links for the World Health Organization. Remember, there's always more news 24/7 on our social media pages. Just search for Vallo Vision News on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram for more stories throughout the week. Still ahead on Vallo Vision News, convicted rapist Harvey Weinstein has entered himself in jail. what happened and what it means for the disgraced movie mogul. Plus, the U.S. has started withdrawing troops from Afghanistan. We break down the government's planned timeline. And this video game console just sold for hundreds of thousands of dollars. What makes it so valuable? We'll be right back.
Create your future as a social media manager, filmmaker, journalist, and so much more with a degree in communication studies and mass communication. Visit montevallo.edu/COFA for more information. You belong at Montevallo.
In this week's national headlines, disgraced movie mogul and convicted rapist Harvey Weinstein fell and injured himself Sunday at New York's Rikers Island jail. His spokesperson says Weinstein was dizzy before he fell and thinks he has a concussion. Weinstein was always seen with a walker before going to jail, but he doesn't have one now. Weinstein's sentencing is scheduled for Wednesday, and he could face more than 2 decades in prison. The United States has begun withdrawing troops from Afghanistan. According to a U.S. official, it's part of the initial drawdown to 8,600 required by the U.S. Taliban peace agreement. There are currently over 12,000 troops there. If the Taliban meets the conditions of the peace agreement, the remaining U.S. troops are supposed to depart the country within 14 months. This Tuesday might be a landmark moment in the 2020 presidential campaign. Democratic presidential candidates Joe Biden and Bernie Sanders are facing off on Super Tuesday 2. John Lawrence reports.
It'll be like deja vu all over again, but not quite as big. On Super Tuesday 2, contests will be held in Washington State, Idaho, North Dakota, Missouri, Mississippi, and most importantly, Michigan, with its 125 delegates. Democratic presidential candidates Joe Biden and Bernie Sanders spent the weekend stumping.
We're building a coalition. We're building a coalition that most successful presidents of our lifetime, Barack Obama, had started.
Change never takes place from the top on down, always from the bottom on up.
Each candidate received a big endorsement. California Senator Kamala Harris is backing Biden.
We need a leader who really does care about the people and who can therefore unify the people. And I believe Joe can do that.
While the Reverend Jesse Jackson is supporting Sanders.
A lot of talk these days about democratic socialism. What does all that mean? The opposite word is democracy, all for and by the people.
Biden has a delegate lead over Sanders thanks to his dominant performance on the first Super Tuesday.
This is not an election just for the soul of the Democratic Party. It's a battle for America's soul.
Sanders, meanwhile, is still awaiting Super Tuesday results from delegate-rich California, where he is leading in a slow count, and focusing on Michigan, a state he narrowly won in 2016.
Let us win the Democratic nomination. Let us defeat Donald Trump.
I'm John Lawrence reporting.
President Trump, meanwhile, has already collected 833 delegates for the Republican nomination. His long-shot challenger, former Governor Bill Weld, has gathered only a single delegate. Still ahead on Vallo Vision News, lost and found, the pup is a long way from home. Find out how far it traveled when we come back.
The University of Montevallo is designated a military-friendly school for offering the best educational opportunities and support available. You served. Now our Office of Veteran and Military Affairs is here to serve you. Visit youbelongatmontevallo.com to learn more.
A woman in Michigan found a 2-year-old pup in her front yard and took it to the vet to read the microchip. It registered to a family all the way in Miami, nearly 1,400 miles away. They're still looking at options to get the dog back to its family. But how he traveled from Miami to Michigan, no one knows. The sky will look a little more beautiful tonight. A true full moon, also known as the worm moon, will be lighting up the sky this week. This supermoon happens when the moon is at its closest approach to Earth in orbit. The moon will seem bigger and brighter through Wednesday. And finally this week, a game console that never went to market just sold for $360,000. The Nintendo PlayStation was supposed to be a collaboration between Sony and Nintendo, but failed before ever hitting the shelves in 1991. It's believed to be the only one still in existence. That's all the time we have for today's show. Remember, there's always more news 24/7 on our social media pages. Just search for Vallo Vision News on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram for more stories throughout the week. Thanks for watching, and be sure to tune in to Vallo Vision News again next week.